What if you want to add special characters on your web page? So let's say a semicolon, maybe the hat sign, maybe these dollar or cent sign or the copy symbol. What do you do? For that, this kind of feature is actually called entity in HTML. So if you simply Google HTML entity codes Mozilla, you're going to simply find a very good documentation on the Mozilla documentation website. So the first link is the one. Now let's take a look at what the first line of this particular page says. It says that an HTML entity is a piece of string that begins with the ampersand sign, which is the and symbol, and ends with a semicolon. So basically, let's say if you want to add the copy symbol like such, you're going to simply put you're going to simply put the ampersand, copy, and then a semicolon. So let's take a look. So I'm going to simply delete all of these extra stuff on our page. And we're going to start playing around with that. So I'm going to say ampersand, copy, and then the semicolon, save, and refresh, and you see that copy symbol shows up. Now, if you want to look at more of these options, you can simply go to that particular documentation, and there's a reference chart over here. So if you click over here, that's the full reference chart. You can simply play around with these particular different symbols that there are out there. Now, one more thing to note is why do we have to use these special characters when we want to put, let's say, the copy symbol, all right? So why do we have to write it like this versus just, somehow copy and paste it? Actually, you can copy and paste it, but the fact of the matter is the reason why there are these special symbols to actually represent these special characters is because, number one, not all the keyboards have all these particular characters. You don't have the pound symbol, let's say if you're in the US, or this double arrow or this R symbol, the registration symbol. You don't have that on your keyboard. So that's the number one reason. The second reason is, which is a more important reason, is because a lot of these symbols, let's say the less than sign or the greater than sign or the equal sign, these are actually reserved characters in the HTML language, right? So we use, when we are writing these elements, we use the less than and greater than sign. We use the equal sign. We use the semicolons at times. So it would confuse the browser when it's interpreting your code. It wouldn't know whether this is actually a character that the user wants to represent on the page or it's actually code. So that's why these special character syntax was introduced. So that's pretty much it for this video. Actually, I want to leave you with one extra tip over here. So remember that from our first few videos, actually, when we were writing a lot of paragraphs, so let's say I'm writing a sentence. This is a sentence, and I want to leave a lot of space. All right, sentence, the spelling. Pause here. Actually, resume. Spelling of sentence is fixed. This is a sentence and I want to leave a lot of space. So let's say if I want to leave a lot of space here, and I'm putting a lot of space, I save and I refresh, and you see that the space is not there. Only one space is there. And the reason for that is that HTML will only consider one space. It's not going to, if you put a lot of these extra spaces over here, and even if I put an enter, 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 it's actually not going to consider that, all right? Now, if you want to enforce that, there's a special character for that, and you will have to write that particular character. And that particular character is actually called NBSP, non-breaking space. So I'm going to simply Google that, or sorry, search it over here, NBSP. You see this is an empty character, and the character is basically an empty space. That's all it is. So if I simply copy this, and if I want it in my code, I can simply put an NBSP over here, NBSP, 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 save, refresh, and you see all the spaces over here. So you notice that it will put one space over here and then one more space, and then this space, and then this space, and then this space. So it basically has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spaces between over here. And the reason it's actually taking the space in between these NBSPs is because this is one character, and this is another character, and this is another character, and this is another character. So it's basically taking all this space combined and actually putting it between. So that is the trick to use. Let's say in certain cases you want these spaces to be there. Now if you actually want the different line breaks, then you don't want to do line breaks like such. You simply, let's say if you want a line break here, you are going to use the BR tag. So this is nothing to do with the characters, but you have already learned that in a previous video. Just want to reiterate the point that when you are making line breaks, you're going to do BR, and if you want inline non-breaking space, you're going to use ampersand, semicolon, and NBSP, non-breaking space. So with that, you know about these special characters, how to insert that, how to look for it in this HTML reference, which can be found in this particular link over here, reference chart, and you can simply Google HTML entity codes Mozilla, and you're gonna find that URL. So that's pretty much it for this video. Play around with this, have fun, and I'm gonna talk to you in the next video.